Frankfurt, no manager, no number 9, already out the competition. What could go wrong?
Everything. Everything can go wrong with Tottenham Hotspur. Also, Frankfurt are one of those weird teams, as much as they're very easy to play against, but also they can catch you out as well. They're a very topsy-turvy team. They score a lot of goals and they concede a lot. I was looking at in the Bundesliga, they've scored the second most amount of goals and they've conceded the most. So I guess it's in a sense as well, given the fact that they're already out, the shackles will be off, the pressure will be off for them, so they're gonna try and win the game. There's no point trying to get a draw or anything.
You don't know what kind of team you see, like how strong they're going to be.
Yeah, whether they rest players or not, but I think you got look. If we assume that they're going to go fairly full strength, just for some pride and whatever, I think that the pressure's going to be off, and with the way they attack, obviously you can't take that for granted. They are very intense. They get their fullbacks flying forward. They get players in the box, and it's tough to defend against sometimes, which is why they've scored so many goals. But then again, Dortmund as well were one of the highest scorers in the Bundesliga, and we kind of kept them very quiet.
Dortmund have only scored 1 less goal than Frankfurt.
Yeah, so we kept them very quiet, and surprisingly quiet. You know, Garassi, Brandt, and Adeyemi. Those are players who think they could probably play in the Premier League, and they're pretty good, and we kept them very, very quiet. So looking at Frankfurt's team is actually very similar to what it was last season. They've obviously got Callum Wendo in this window, but he's ineligible. They had Hugo Ekitike, who's obviously gone to Liverpool last season, but a lot of the players are the same that they were last season. So obviously we beat them 1-0 and away from home. We drew 1-1 at home, but obviously we should have won that game by 2 or 3 goals. So I am expecting Tottenham to be kind of physically dominant like they were against Dortmund, to be honest. But I also think if we're nervous and our passing isn't crisp and we're leaving too many gaps if we're not suffocating this Frankfurt team, then they could create chances 100%, and they got the talent to do that.
Yeah, look, there's also a different kind of way where Dortmund were coming to us, and we've been very strong at home in Europe for a number of seasons now. Where we're going away to Frankfurt. We know it's a difficult place to go. We handled ourselves really well there last season, but will it be a bit different? I guess we went into that game really low on confidence with the way that we were playing in the league then as well, and nobody expected us to go and put the professional performance we did in Frankfurt. So maybe we can, but I mean, things seem a bit off. They've obviously had a manager which they did believe in last season, or they liked last season. Obviously, in that Van der Ven interview, he said that before the Frankfurt game, they went into the office and asked them to go a bit more defensive, and Ange duly obliged, and we did go a bit more defensive. But yeah, I just don't know how much belief they do have in Thomas Frank. We know we've struggled in pretty much every away European game this season.
Haven't won one, have we?
No. So we've gone to Monaco where we drew, we should have lost. We went to Bodo, we drew, we shouldn't have lost. We went to PSG, which was probably our best performance. We lost. But I think a lot of Spurs fans came out of that quite happy, not with the result, but with the way we managed ourselves against the European champions and played. So on paper, before the group stage started, this was probably our second hardest away game in the group stage. Now, they're out. They don't really have any ambitions in this tournament anymore. We don't know what kind of what team that they're going to put out. I do really believe this has just got Dr. Tottenham written all over it, though. Like, it really does.
It's one of those where you're obviously going in it. I know that even though the form we're going into this game and you're expecting a win, but you can definitely get complacent. You're playing a team who's already out. You're thinking, okay, surely that they're not going to be up for it. It's going to be just an easy 3 points. But I think, as I've said, when the pressure's off, sometimes you see it. When teams are already relegated and they start to play better.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Just like that weight gets lifted, and they can just go play their natural game without the fear of, if we lose, it's going to be meltdown or anything like that, because the worst has already happened. And that's kind of the same with Frankfurt in the Champions League. And also in the Champions League, they have taken a few batterings, but also some games have been very close. They did lose to Karabag last game, but that one, I think they went 2-1 up with 10 minutes to go and ended up contriving to lose the game 3-2 in the last 10 minutes somehow. It was a close game when they went away to Barcelona, losing that one 2-1. but they have taken some batterings as well.
You know what? Another element could be in terms of the team that they play in this game. Obviously, it's a caretaker manager in right now, and sometimes when caretaker managers are in while they're waiting for the announcement of the full-time manager, they want to make a name for themselves, don't they? These caretaker managers, and one exactly, it's a massive opportunity, and he maybe wants to be in the running for the full-time role, so that he's probably going to pick the strongest team for that. To send a bit of a message.
Right, because there's no point in him resting players. What does it get him? But apparently, someone was saying in the comments they do have a big game on the weekend against Leverkusen. So whether they've got one eye on that game or
they
not.
Play Hoffenheim.
They play Hoffenheim? They just played Hoffenheim.
No, they just played Union Berlin.
No, Hoffenheim.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at Union Berlin. They just played Hoffenheim.
Yeah,
They're playing
Leverkusen.
Leverkusen at home. Yeah, you're right.
So, whether they have one eye on that game, or
they're 5 points behind Leverkusen in the league table, so it is a big game. Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if they do rest players for that game or they go full strength. I envisage it's more likely they go full strength than massively rotate, or maybe
a couple players.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a mix and match. But I don't think that. Basically, I don't think you should go into this game thinking like they're not going to be a threat or anything. Definitely, though, we should go in this game thinking we can get at them because we can. Even when they're at their best, they can be got at. They are very open. They give you chances, and they've conceded a hell of a lot of goals this season. Now, the problem is I'm looking at that team on screen right now that we're likely to play. There isn't a hell of a lot of creativity or attacking flair in that team. You're heavily relying on that front three.
Well, to be fair, you got Spence and Udogie can both go on the outside and create the width. You've got Archie Gray, who can be a progressive passer in the middle of the park. You've got Odegaard and Javi, who are playing well at the moment. So, I mean, it's not too bad.
I think you're looking at... I mean, for me, Spence and Udogie, they don't really provide goal contributions as much as they do get forward. They're good at getting in positions. They're not really good at doing much when they do it.
I think it'd be better for Spence to be on the right-hand side if he is.
Yeah, I think
he's not as good as Porro, obviously.
Yeah, he did have a good relationship with Odegaard. Now, who takes set pieces in this game? No Porro, no Tell. Xavi, I'm guessing. Xavi's going to be over there.
Probably Xavi. There's no standout.
It's going to have to be Xavi. Yeah, definitely. With Danso also in the team, we will have that threat from long throws as well. So hopefully that's an avenue we can go down. I do wonder whether we go into this game, are we going to be the ones dominating possession, or is Frankfurt going to take the initiative and we're going to kind of try and exploit them?
I think it'll be us.
We'll try and do what we did against Dortmund.
Yeah, I think so.
Just overwhelm them.
I'm just trying to look at Frankfurt's past game, what the possessions have been like. So at home against Frankfurt, it was fairly even. They had 47%. Karabag, they went away to Karabag and had 42% possession. Werder Bremen, they had 40% possession. I mean, they're losing the possession battle in every game pretty much. 42% against Stuttgart.
I think at that point you might say it's probably a tactic.
Yeah. Every game I'm looking at, the past 6-7 games, they've had lower possession than the opposition. The last game which they've had a higher possession was against Hamburg, 60%, which was 20th of December.
So it sounds like they're going to be giving us the initiative.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to make sure we got the quality to break him down, which worries me even more.
The thing is, right, against Dortmund, we had Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall in the middle, and the passing just seemed a lot more crisp, and we're able to move the ball a lot quicker and from side to side, and it just seemed to flow a bit better. Obviously, we're going to have one of João Palhinha probably alongside Archie Gray, or Palhinha and Sarr, or Sarr and Gray. Those are two of the three options that we have, and obviously Gray was part of that two-man midfield, but with Palhinha and Sarr there, I don't think we'll be able to move the ball as nicely as we did.
That's obviously one of the downsides to Palhinha. Hopefully he helps us really dominate physically in that middle, which I think dominating them physically will go a long way for us to winning this game in general, because we saw what it did against Dortmund, who are obviously a better footballing side than us, but we just suffocated them. They couldn't live with us physically. That was the main separation I felt. And I think when you're comparing Premier League teams to Bundesliga teams, I think it's night and day. So that's what we just got to try and do. I think we just got to try and overwhelm them and just kind of force the ball into the back of the net, whether it be crosses or set pieces, because that's what we're good at. So just do that, I guess. Why I don't think we're going to need to be playing through them. It doesn't have to be pretty. just has to be effective, and that's what I think we'll try and do. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where we score our goals again, set pieces.
Yeah, but we don't have our first or second choice set piece taker. Javi's set pieces, I mean, he did take one, didn't he? He took a corner against Burnley. And we were all surprised, like, why is Javi taking it with the players that we have on the pitch? But yeah, I guess he's got experience taking it, but Porro's set pieces and Tell's set pieces are so much better, aren't they?
Well, Javi just hasn't really been taking too many. It's been those two have been better. Yeah, I think that's clear. In terms of players, maybe to look out for, there's Nathaniel Brown. A lot of people linked with him. He's been much of the talk.
A lot of Spurs fans looking to want to get him.
Get him at left back as well. There's a lot of talk about should we be going for him. A bit of an audition maybe if he plays well. Look, you know what playing well against Tottenham does for your career. All of a sudden you get an offer. So maybe if he plays well, we'll go going for him.
Yeah, another player to highlight is that Uzun. The young Turkish boy that we've been linked with over the past week or so. They're saying he's one of the shining lights at Frankfurt right now.
Yeah, he's an attacker who's really lighting things up, a young attacker. So he's one to look out for. They obviously on the bench last game they had like Hugo Larsson, who's much talked about. He's obviously a good player. But injured at the moment. Let's see if Jonathan Burkhart. He's a good striker. So if he misses out, that'll be good.
And Michy Batshuayi as well.
Batshuayi. So we'll have to wait and see who is available and who isn't. Obviously Mario Götze they got. I also like Arthur Tiata. I think he's a player we should be looking at because he can play left centre back and left back, and to a good level. And I thought I was quite impressed with him when we played against them last year. He was on the bench last game, but I think he's quite a handy player as well. But other than that, look, there's obviously shouldn't go into this game with anything to fear. The only thing we should be fearing is ourselves, because screwing it up or something going wrong or not living up to how we should be playing. I think we should have this game if we go like in the mentality we had against Dortmund, suffocate them and just be unrelenting. We should have it. However, obviously Dortmund, you also have to caveat it a bit of the fact that they did have a man sent off at 1-0, and we've seen how many times this season that we've gone 1-0 up in a few games, and we're playing quite well, and we haven't been able to sustain the pressure. The opposition does come back into it, and we end up not winning. Yeah. So we have to make sure if we do go 1-0 up, we make sure we get that second.
Absolutely. We can't rely on sending off every game that we go 1-0 up. So yeah, 100%. I think we need to be aggressive from the first minute, like we were against Dortmund, like we were against Burnley, but we weren't able to sustain it against Burnley. Do you reckon that the case was we were able to sustain it against Dortmund because of that sending off? Because we've seen so many.
I don't think we were able to sustain against Dortmund. We didn't. We won. We got the second, and then we sat back for that second half.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we were pretty intense for the whole 45 against Dortmund. That's not been the case in previous games. In previous games, we've looked intense for like 5-10 minutes, and then there's been a drop-off in the first half. In Dortmund, there wasn't a drop-off in the first half. That's what I'm talking about.
I guess we'll never know whether it's just because of the red card or not, but I definitely think it would have helped.
So, yeah, we sat back and look, I thought it was a decent game plan because we created good moments on the transition and we hurt them, and we probably should have scored more in that second half with the chances that we did have. So I think the game plan was decent against Dortmund.
I'm not saying it wasn't something that worked on that occasion. I'm just saying how many times has it not worked? You know what I mean? And that's the general pattern.
Yeah.
When we do that, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But it did work against Dortmund. Whether it's because they went down to 10 men or not, you can't say for sure. But you also can't say for sure if they didn't go down to 10 men, it wouldn't have followed the other patterns. Who knows?
Yeah. It's just a weird situation with Spurs. I feel like every single game is a carbon copy where first 5 minutes, we're looking like, all right, we're in the game today. We're looking aggressive. We're looking on the front foot. And then literally it lasts 10 minutes max, 15 minutes at the very tops. And then for the rest of the half an hour of the first half, it's just so lackluster and no desire, and we just can't seem to move the ball. I mean, why does this happen every single game?
Maybe is it because? Well, I was going to say, is it because of injuries or not? I don't know. It's really peculiar. Maybe it's we try to unsettle the opposition and then they come back into the game and we're unable to keep up that kind of same energy for too much time. I think as well, I think part of it, to be honest, actually, is we're not set up to keep the ball. So we put these teams under pressure, but we're a very direct team. So if we're not putting you under pressure, we have no way of just like keeping the ball while progressing it, if you know what I mean. We're not set up to do that. So as soon as we lose control of the ball, all of a sudden we're allowing the opposition to come back into it because we are not set up to have control in that way. So it's almost like inevitable that at some point we are going to lose control of the game because we can't keep control of the ball.
Yeah.
So I think if we were like under Pochettino, for example, we would get after teams early. But once we had them where we wanted them, we could then control possession a bit and break them down that way. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, it's like we can put you under pressure, but once we have you, we actually have no way or system of actually keeping the ball where we want you. We're very direct. It's get it out wide and get it crossing. So once those moments are over, we now no longer have control of that situation because that's not how we're set up. And I think that's part of it as well.
Yeah, so it's vitally important for us to score in those 10, 15 minutes.
Sure.
That's the thing. Because if we don't score in those first 10, 15 minutes, we struggle to make headway after that.
Even if we do score.
Yeah, but I'm saying like if we do score, obviously there's still a battle in our hands for the rest of the game. But if we don't score and we go 1-0 down, we've never overturned a 1-0 deficit.
Yeah.
This season. So it's just like if we don't score in those first 10, 15 minutes, it seems like the game plan every week is to try score in those opening 10, 15 minutes, and if we don't, we're fucked. Basically, that's what it is.
God.
There's an ITK saying, Van der Ven and Porro not seen in training today. My sources suggest they've headed to West Ham to rest up.
Oh, brilliant.
But yeah, look, it's going to be big day tomorrow. It's a really big game, people, because it's so important for us to finish in that top 8. You look at the group phase now, where you can see we're 5th on 14 points. The highest we can finish is 3rd above Real Madrid. And the lowest we can finish is where? It's all the way down in... Where's the lowest we can finish? Lowest down is 16th, around 16th.
If we lose.
Yeah. But it's actually not that because teams around us are playing each other. Newcastle are playing PSG, who are the two teams just also directly below us. Dortmund, Inter as well. So,
but I was looking at the fixtures before. I'm looking at them here. Like we need obviously 4 teams. I think 3 teams to out of these up until 16th to win, to drop out if we lose. And I'm pretty sure 4 of them are going to win because you've got Man City at home to Galatasaray. You've got Barca against Copenhagen, Atletico Madrid against Bodo Glimt, and who else you got?
Athletic Club Bilbao against Sporting.
Atletico Bilbao Sporting, yeah. Chelsea Napoli, that might be 50. Oh, one of PSG and Newcastle are probably going to win as well. So I think it's going to be near impossible to not win be in the top 8. I think we're going to have to win.
If we draw, if we draw, 15. Then we just got to hope that no more than 3 of those teams below us win. Is that the situation? Or if 3 teams outside the top 8?
Including the top 8. Oh, because 6th, 7th and 8th also need to finish above us. Yeah. So it has to be 3... No, it has to be 4 teams, because if it's 3, 1, 2... No, it has to be 4 teams that win. Yeah. So, and if we draw, only from 13th upwards. So between 13th and 6th, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So out of those 8 teams, 4 have to win if we draw. And again, likely one of PSG or Newcastle will probably win. Barca will probably win. City will probably win. And Madrid, Atletico are probably going to win. Mm. Well, look, who knows? You never know. Like, maybe they won't and we'll get lucky. I would say if we draw or lose, I would say a 75% to 80% chance we're not going to make the top 8.
And also another added element is that after the game tomorrow, it'll become clear what kind of teams we'll be able to face in the next round, whether it be in a playoff or the last 16.
Yep. Yeah.
How does that work?
So the knockouts, depending on where we finish, right now we are. So 1 minute, if I go to UEFA.com, it tells you. So right now we are set to play. So right now there's obviously the playoff round, which is 11th or 12th versus 21st or 22nd. They're going to play one of 5th or 6th. This is one of us or PSG, but it's a draw. So we obviously remember if you go on one side of the draw or the other with this draw, which maybe it's on Friday. I don't know when it's going to be. So right now, if the league table ended as it is now, then we could be playing Man City in the knockout round if it ended right now. But we also could be playing Atletico or Monaco or PSV, depending who'll win that game. But because there's one more round and because the league is extraordinarily tight, there is 8 teams on 13 points right now.
Yeah.
So the league could end up with anything. Literally, it could end up in any kind of permutation right now. So there's not much value of looking at it right now, I guess, because it just could end in any way, depending on where you finish and when everyone else is finished. But it is predetermined, kind of, slightly. It's like basically predetermined with one little draw right at the beginning to decide who plays kind of what side of the draw you're on.
So that draw takes place on the 30th, so on Friday.
That is Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll know on Friday who we're playing,
Yeah. All right. So that is the situation going into the game tomorrow. Once again, me and Sim will be on the watch along tomorrow, so tune in. We're going a bit earlier tomorrow, 7:30, so come and tune in then. There will be a chance, actually, a big chance to win a Rolex Daytona, people. So come and join us at 7:30 if you want to know how to get your hands on a Rolex Daytona, people. It'll cost about 20 grand or something like that. You know,
you've got to be in it to win it.
You've got to be in it to win it, people. So come and join us tomorrow where we'll let you know how you can do that. But that is it from us today.